Get ready for the action because Khamzat Chimaev is absolutely obsessed with one thing: a rematch with Sean Strickland. This fighter refuses anything but that one specific confrontation, and his team is adamant that this is the only fight he will ever accept. We dive deep into the history of this rivalry and what it means for the future of the UFC. Stick around to find out everything you need to know about this high-stakes battle.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALEN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the surprising next move for Khamzat Chimaev. Fresh off his split decision loss to Sean Strickland at UFC 328, Chimaev is heading straight into competition, but not in the UFC. He's making his Real American Freestyle debut at RAF 10 in St. Louis against Dylan Dannies. We break down why this freestyle detour is the perfect way for Chimaev to reset his momentum and what this means for his long-term UFC plans. We turn the spotlight onto the controversial judging of that main event. Kamaru Usman is not buying the split decision outcome of the Khamzat Chimaev versus Sean Strickland fight. Usman argues that Khamzat should have been credited for landing 9 takedowns and pressing forward throughout the contest, challenging the official scoring and revealing the complexity of that pivotal fight. And finally, we uncover the shocking truth behind the fight itself. We examine exactly what happened when Khamzat Chimaev's body shut down during that brutal weight cut before UFC 328. We hear from his brother, Artur, detailing the physical toll and the strategic decisions that led to that critical moment. Don't miss this full breakdown, and tell us in the comments what you think is next for Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev has made it unequivocally clear that his sole focus moving forward is securing a rematch with Sean Strickland for the UFC middleweight title, cementing the rivalry as his top priority. According to his team, Chimaev is obsessed with avenging his recent loss at UFC 328. While the fight itself saw a surprising upset by Strickland, the underlying animosity remains unresolved. Khamzat's camp stated in a statement to ESPN that the rematch with Strickland is the only fight he desires and the only one he will accept at this time. His brother, Artur, echoed this sentiment, asserting that Khamzat would not abandon a narrow defeat. Artur proposed scheduling the rematch for an event in Abu Dhabi in October, a time when the UFC is increasingly featuring events in the region. This pursuit of a rematch comes amid broader speculation regarding Chimaev's career trajectory. There was prior talk that he might move up to light heavyweight following the upset loss. However, UFC CEO Dana White directly contradicted this, stating that Chimaev informed him he no longer wanted to compete at 185 pounds, indicating a shift in his weight class preferences. The preparation for the title bout also faced scrutiny, particularly concerning the weight cut. Reports suggested Chimaev struggled significantly with shedding the necessary weight, with some analysts pointing to his body language and fatigue in the second round as indicators of difficulty. Artur attributed the issue to a change in preparation, suggesting Chimaev had been anticipating a fight with Jiří Procházka at 205 pounds before being asked to face Strickland at 185 pounds. This adjustment reportedly left him heavier than anticipated during the middleweight camp. Despite the narrow decision that saw Strickland secure the title, Chimaev entered the bout on a high note, having secured dominant victories over former champions, including Dricus du Plessis. The ongoing pursuit of the Strickland rematch signals that for Khamzat Chimaev, the path forward is firmly defined by settling this unfinished business. Former UFC middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev is pivoting his focus away from the octagon for a significant, high-profile event in June, marking a strategic reset following a recent title loss. Chimaev is set to make his Real American Freestyle debut at RAF 10 in St. Louis against Dylan Dannies. While there is no official announcement regarding the weight class, Chimaev has indicated he is not cutting to 185 pounds, suggesting the bout will likely take place at 200 pounds or heavier, aligning with his long-term goal of moving up to the light heavyweight division at 205 pounds in the UFC. This foray into freestyle wrestling serves as a crucial opportunity to rebuild momentum without immediately re-entering the grueling 5-round championship cycle, offering a chance to stay sharp in a different environment. The opponent, Dylan Dannies, is recognized as a world-class grappler with a background in Marcelo Garcia, known for his controversial style, promising an eventful and interesting contest. The move to RAF is also seen as a precursor to Chimaev's planned transition to the UFC light heavyweight division. Training at a heavier weight in freestyle grappling will provide necessary reps at a frame closer to his future 205-pound home, while also keeping him visible to UFC matchmakers. Analysts suggest a victory over Dannies is expected, as Dannies' resume is not deep enough to pose a significant threat to Chimaev's status. Furthermore, the event provides valuable noise management. A headline match at RAF ensures attention, offering a fresh narrative hook that can help mitigate the impact of his recent split decision loss to Sean Strickland. Crucially, the nature of freestyle wrestling strips away the striking variables that exposed Chimaev against Strickland, placing him back on the mat where he remains elite. However, the event is not expected to be a clinic. The rule set rewards patience and points, meaning Chimaev's usual aggressive style will need adaptation to focus on mat returns and scoring positions. Ultimately, the outcome of this June bout will be pivotal. A dominant performance could reframe the Strickland loss as a footnote, while a less-than-dominant result could reignite scrutiny regarding his performance in the UFC. Regardless of the result, June 13th is positioned as the most important non-UFC night in Chimaev's career, providing essential fight shape while the UFC finalizes his light heavyweight assignment. Kamaru Usman has publicly expressed disagreement with the outcome of the UFC 328 main event, where Khamzat Chimaev lost his middleweight title to Sean Strickland via split decision. The bout, held at the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, saw a tight contest decided by a crucial 5th round. While all 3 judges delivered identical scorecards after 4 rounds, Usman believes the decision was flawed, arguing that Khamzat Chimaev should have received credit for his offensive efforts. In an interview on the Pound for Pound podcast with Henry Cejudo, Usman stated, "I do give the fight to Khamzat Chimaev. Slight margin, I say 48-47 Khamzat Chimaev. Strickland stayed on his feet for the most part. I don't understand how you win the fight when you're kind of backing up the whole time. You were backing up the whole time and you threw nothing but jabs, really. So one guy is marching forward, he's throwing jabs as well and he's mixing it up. He's throwing overhands, and he does get some takedowns in there, and he did this for almost 5 rounds. I don't see how he loses the fight. The other guy just backed up and jabs the whole time." The fight itself showcased a dynamic battle. Chimaev secured an early lead by taking Strickland down and maintaining control in the 1st round. Strickland managed to rally in the 2nd round after Chimaev appeared fatigued and pulled guard. The remaining 3 rounds were characterized by competitive exchanges, but ultimately, the judges favored Strickland, leading to the title change. Former UFC middleweight champion Khamzat Chimaev experienced a significant physical struggle during a recent weight cut ahead of his UFC 328 bout against Strickland. Chimaev visibly struggled to make the 185-pound limit, appearing exhausted when he stepped on the scale. This ordeal culminated in him gassing out in the 2nd round of his split decision loss. The reason behind Chimaev's performance issues was revealed by his brother, Artur Chimaev. According to Artur, the weight cut proved too strenuous. He explained that the decision to proceed despite the risk, with only 1.2 kilograms remaining, ultimately depleted Chimaev's body. Artur noted that Chimaev himself expressed concern about fighting in such a state, confirming that his body had not recovered by the 2nd round. Adding to the difficulty, Chimaev had been bulking up for a different weight class, light channel YouTube weight, which made the subsequent cut to middleweight even more challenging. Artur Chimaev detailed the situation, stating that while there were no injuries, the weight cut itself was the issue. Chimaev had accepted the fight against Strickland after being contacted directly by the UFC, despite having an existing agreement for a different opponent, indicating his willingness to take on the challenge. Despite the difficult weight cut and barely making the 185-pound limit, Chimaev has expressed a desire to remain at middleweight and pursue a rematch with Strickland, whom he is reportedly obsessed with. Chimaev's team confirmed this desire for a middleweight rematch. The outcome of this situation, and whether it influences the UFC's decision regarding a rematch, remains to be seen. Analysts suggest that if Chimaev fights Strickland again, he must manage his weight-cutting strategy more effectively to avoid similar physical depletion.